and welcome to the episode. Welcome to whatever this is. The 15th episode of Mixed Media Reviews Season 4. Yeah, we'll go with that. My name is Kelsey, and today I'm going to be talking about a movie. As that's the last episode I need to do for this season. This week's movie is Lisa Frankenstein. Okay, so I am still alive. Life has just been life. July was crazy as I went on vacation to New York, and then a week later I came back and went to Comic-Con, and then I came back sick, and then I got a puppy. So life's just been crazy, and I've just been tired. Work's been really, really busy. I've been doing a lot of overtime. So I haven't had time, but I've been dying to get back, and I've finally found some energy. So I'm back. Let's just pretend that I didn't take this massive break, and we're just going to dive right into the season 4 finale. The moment that I saw a trailer for this movie, I knew I was going to watch it. More so, I knew I needed to watch it with my friends. This movie came out, I think, in February in the theater, but we aren't really theater people, or we're not being around other people type of people. So we had to wait until it was streamable. And then when it finally came out, I think it was Peacock, we then had to try to get our schedules to work, and we're bad friends, so that took a while. But that finally happened in June, where we had a cute little afternoon tea beforehand, and then went back to my house and we watched it, and it was a great little friend date. I think it's only fitting then that this episode is now taking place many months later, so it's okay. Today's episode is going to be a fairly quick one with perhaps some minor spoilers, but nothing major, none of the major bits, I think. This is the summary that Google has for Lisa Frankenstein. A misunderstood teenager and a reanimated Victorian corpse embark on a murderous journey together to find love, happiness, and a few missing body parts. And yeah, I think that's all you really need to know going in. I actually kind of really loved this movie. It was so incredibly weird, which is perfect. It's right up my alley. We were definitely all cracking up numerous times throughout the movie. I think we all really enjoyed it. I loved the aesthetic of the movie. Let's just try to see how many times I can say movie. But I love the outfits. I love the sets. I love the colors. It all just really add to the oddness, the quirkiness of the film. Having it take place in 1989 just added to that kind of 1980s thriller slasher kind of vibe that it had as well. I think they all just really worked really well together. The theme of it, it's kind of like an 80s like teenage drama, but it's also mixed with like a slasher. So I just really loved all the vibes, and I think they all really worked well together, and the set and the outfits and the colors just really added to that ambiance. I also thought all the acting was really great. Katherine Newton plays our main character, Lisa, and she was terrific. She was just so weird, and I loved it so much. Cole Sprouse plays the creature and has like no speaking lines, but he still kind of nails the role, so it works out. Liza Soberano, she plays Taffy, the stepsister of Lisa. She was fantastic, and I loved her acting, and I loved her character. She was terrific. So a little bit of a background, which will be relevant in the critique section and isn't really a spoiler, but maybe perhaps if, again, you don't like to know anything going in. But in the beginning of the film, we find out that Lisa's mom is murdered while the two of them are at home one night. We see this kind of like in some flashbacks. As in the present, Lisa's dad has remarried to Taffy's mom. And even though the mom is like evil stepmom territory, Taffy is still really nice to Lisa. I just really loved that about Taffy and the character, that she still really wanted to be sisters, and she wasn't trying to be, filling that evil stepsister role. She was trying to be friendly, even, when her mom clearly was not. They're obviously very different, but she still tried to bridge the gap between her and Lisa. And it was, I don't know, she was just trying to, kind of bring her back out of her shell after losing her mom. And I liked that the movie could have had her stepsister being evil as well, but instead they chose to make her, friendly and nice. And I liked that, especially for what happened later in the movie with the turn of events. I think it highlights the change in Lisa that we see over the course of the film even further. If you've seen the movie, I think you know what I'm talking about. But basically, I feel like it was a good direction to take the character that, yes, the stepmother was kind of evil, the dad was oblivious, and the stepsister was really kind. And the rest of the cast was also really great. The stepmom is played by Carla Gugino, maybe. And she was perfect. And, I don't know. What else did I love about this movie? I don't know. I forgot to take notes, and it was quite some time ago now. But I just really loved how weird it was. It was just so unapologetically weird. And I love those types of movies that are just real weird vibes. Like Napoleon Dynamite, like weirdness, where like it knows it's weird and it's okay with being weird. I love that. So remember when I said her backstory was relevant to the critiques? Well, I really only have one critique about this movie that I can actually remember. So I think that means it's a critique. That's what that means. But basically, I thought this movie was great, but you know how sometimes you'll watch something and you think it's just, going to be a silly whatever movie, but then it just turns out to be so much better. You're like, that movie had no right to be as good as it was. Something like the movie Palm Springs with Andy Samberg, which I have another episode about it, I think earlier on, maybe season 1 or 2. But Palm Springs had no right to be as good as it was. It could have easily been a silly movie that was good, but there's this part of the movie that I won't say because it's humongous spoiler, and it's so freaking good. If you haven't watched it yet, please go watch it. But there's this part where you just kind of go from a casual viewer to really being sucked into the film, and that moment where it just goes deeper than you expected it to be, that is what, like, that turning point of the movie, that makes the movie have that much more staying power than you thought it could possibly have, that it should possibly have even. And I feel like Lisa Frankenstein could have had that, but it kind of just stayed as a, fun, silly movie, which is totally fine because not every movie has to elevate itself like that. And Lisa Frankenstein was still a very good movie, and I still really enjoyed it, and it was fun, and it was, a good movie to watch with my two of my best friends, and it was just a good, solid movie. But I think it had a chance to become one of those movies that just went above, where you were just like, holy crap, it went from that fun silliness to taking a deeper stance to, having that lasting staying power. And I think that's by somehow kind of tying in her mother's death, because we find out at the beginning, like I said, that her mother is murdered while she's in the house with her, like by an axe murderer, just comes in and murders her mom. And instead they kind of just treat it as an event that happened previously. I felt like we didn't get any closure on it because we don't know who it was. We don't know why they tried to kill the mom. It was just kind of a catalyst, I guess, to Lisa withdrawing and, kind of being weird and having these kind of morbid curiosity and whatever. So it definitely serves a purpose, but I feel like we could have tied it back at the end of the movie. And yes, like in the real world, we don't always find out, the who or the why, but this is a movie, and I feel like if they had somehow tied it back, kind of brought it back at the end of the film, maybe, something to do with the dad or the axe murderer, I don't know, but I feel like it had a chance to make this a bit deeper and make it kind of feel like a oh, we've came full circle kind of a thing. So I don't know. So it's kind of a critique about how it could have gotten deeper, but I still think it was a pretty fun and pretty good movie. Pretty weird, which again I still really liked. But I just think it kind of had a missed opportunity to be a bit more of something that you'd want to rewatch over and over again, I mean, it could still have that rewatchability. I put tons of movies on that are not great that I put on in the background, which I have an episode about that too. But yeah, so I think it could have been a little bit deeper, and unfortunately, it wasn't. But I guess fortunately, it was still good. Yeah, I still really liked it, and if you're not into those weird movies, maybe it's not really for you. But if you're into the weird movies where like the setting is kind of a character itself, and if you love a dark romance, if you're a fan of Cole Sprouse, probably, then I think you'll like it as well, because it was still a fun, cute movie in the end. And there you have it. Those are my thoughts on Lisa Frankenstein. Thank you so, so much for joining me. You can find me on Instagram, Facebook, and Tumblr at Mixed Media Reviews Podcast. Please leave me a comment to let me know if you agreed or if you have any suggestions going in the future. You can also find me anywhere you find your podcasts, probably, though using Spotify would be very helpful. Thank you all so much for listening and staying with me. I can't believe this is the end of season 4. That is wild. I really appreciate you guys hanging in there and keeping listening, and I appreciate you. So please join me next time, where I'm actually starting out season 5. I'm going to talk about some books I got from Comic-Con, and it's just going to be more chill and casual. So have a wonderful rest of the day, and bye.